Television has always been a powerful communication platform, capable of connecting millions of people around the world, showing inspiring stories, and even transforming lives. However, behind the cameras, there are moments that are not in the script. Unexpected scenes, slip-ups, and revelations that end up exposing some people, whether for better or for worse. From technical failures to unplanned confessions, passing through scandals and major revelations, we realize how television, with all its vast reach, can turn an ordinary moment into a public spectacle. These will be the TV moments you are going to watch today. Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, made a rather unusual gaffe during a live interview in 2022 when he stated that his favorite breakfast item at McDonald's was the breakfast wrap. The curious detail is that this item had been removed from the chain's menu in the United Kingdom about 2 years earlier, in 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic. The statement sparked quick reactions on social media, with internet users pointing out the inconsistency and questioning his familiarity with everyday habits. Others interpreted the episode as an attempt to connect with the public in a laid-back way, but one that backfired in the end, since he mentioned something that does not even exist anymore, making it clear that the declaration was just to become popular with people and not genuine at all.
If I'm with my daughters, then we get the rap.
Oh, the girls like the
my
rap.
eldest daughter is, or we get the rap.
The slip-up reignited the debate about the authenticity of public figures' statements, especially when they try to appear closer to the daily life of ordinary citizens, becoming a topic even on some news broadcasts. Despite the embarrassment, Sunak kept a good-humored tone and did not officially comment on the incident. Robert Pattinson, known for his role in the Twilight Saga, revealed that the story of him having worked as a hand model in his childhood was false, and of course the revelation shocked the world, since it was told by him himself. For more than a decade, he shared this anecdote in interviews, but in 2011, during a conversation with host Jimmy Kimmel, he admitted that it was all just a joke, or rather one of his dreams that had mixed with reality, and because he believed it had happened, he decided to talk about it on several occasions. However, he soon realized it was false and felt he should reveal the truth.
This is annoying because it's one of my little talk show stories, which I've used over the years like many times.
This revelation generated repercussions among fans and the media, highlighting how celebrities can create fictional narratives that end up being accepted as true. Pattinson's case is an example of how invented stories can take on a life of their own and persist over time. Roxanne Pallett, a British actress, became one of the most talked-about names on the internet in 2018 after a controversial episode during her participation in the United Kingdom's Celebrity Big Brother. She accused Ryan Thomas, another participant, of having assaulted her during an interaction that was broadcast live. The incident took place when Ryan jokingly threw mock punches in the air near Roxanne, something that was clearly perceived by viewers and other participants as a light-hearted gesture with no aggressive intent. However, Roxanne stated that she felt attacked and began referring to Ryan as a womanizer and aggressor, requesting that he be expelled from the show. The controversy quickly gained momentum when footage of the supposed attack was reviewed and showed there had been no aggressive contact whatsoever. The public, the viewers, and even other participants in the show strongly criticized Roxanne for exaggerating the situation and playing the victim.
He's trying to manipulate them in thinking that I'm making this up, I'm not making it up. And he's tarnishing my reputation by saying this is an act.
After leaving the show, Roxanne faced enormous backlash on social media and in the press. She later publicly apologized in interviews, admitting that her reaction was exaggerated and that she had made a serious mistake. Charles Ingram, a former major in the British Army, became infamous for his involvement in a cheating scheme on the United Kingdom's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in 2001. Ingram won the top prize of £1 million, but was quickly accused of fraud and, according to reports, had to return the money. The case unfolded when the show's producers reviewed the footage and noticed suspicious behavior. During his participation, Ingram frequently hesitated before selecting the correct answer, but seemed to change his mind after hearing coughs from the audience.
Am I sure? Yeah, hat. It's a hat.
It was discovered that his wife, Diana Ingram, and an accomplice, Tequin Whittock, another participant on the show, were involved in the plot. Whittock would cough strategically to signal the correct answer. The investigation led to the nullification of the prize, and Charles, Diana, and Whittock were put on trial for conspiracy to commit fraud. In 2003, all three were found guilty and fined. The case drew huge media attention and became an example of how trying to deceive a popular show can have serious consequences. Decades later, the story is still discussed, having been adapted into stage plays and a miniseries called Quiz in 2020, which explored the events in detail. The episode involving Father Quevedo, challenging Lucifer on the Fantástico show from TV Globo in Brazil in 2000, became one of the most striking and curious moments on Brazilian television. Father Oscar Gonzalez Quevedo, a famous parapsychologist and Jesuit priest, was known for his skepticism regarding supernatural phenomena and for his catchphrase "Isso não existe," meaning "that does not exist." At the time, Fantástico was covering stories and beliefs related to the devil and the supernatural. During his participation, Quevedo, in his usual skeptical stance, categorically declared that the devil had no power over him or over any truly religious person. To reinforce his opinion, he challenged Lucifer live, ordering him to do things using his power, but obviously nothing happened. The episode generated a strong reaction, especially among those who believe in the supernatural, and it also inspired memes and heated discussions on religion and science. Many admired Quevedo's courage and conviction, while others saw his attitude as provocative or even reckless.
A Lucifer, que con seus poderes me dobre este dedo.
Although controversial, Father Quevedo always maintained that his approach was based on science and the Catholic faith, and that he believed in the existence of evil, but not in physical or direct manifestations of Satan as many people imagine. He remained a controversial and fascinating figure in Brazil until his death in 2019. The episode of the electric grill catching fire live on Domingão do Faustão from TV Globo in Brazil is one of the most emblematic and hilarious moments in Brazilian television. The event took place during a segment of the show that showcased Brazilian inventors, where participants would present their creations to the public and the panel of judges. One of the inventors presented his electric grill, highlighting its practicality and efficiency. However, when demonstrating the appliance live, something went very wrong. The grill began to emit smoke and then went up in flames with a small explosion, surprising everyone in the studio. Fausto Silva, known for his spontaneous reactions and sarcastic comments, did not miss the opportunity to turn the disaster into humor.
E agora pra desligar essa merda aí, meu. E agora desliga! Tá pegando fogo, bicho!
He blurted out phrases such as, "Is it a grill or a crematorium, man? It's on fire, dude!" and joked with the inventor about the risks of using the device.
Aperta essa merda aí que tá pegando fogo, pô!
The episode quickly went viral, even before the social media era, and continues to be remembered as a classic example of live entertainment. The episode in which a journalist from the British magazine Cosmopolitan infiltrated the famous TV show Blind Date, presented by Cilla Black, is remembered as an example of unusual investigative journalism and an embarrassing situation for the show. The journalist, who used a pseudonym, aimed to reveal the behind-the-scenes reality of the show and investigate how genuine the experience of finding love on television really was. Blind Date was known for its format. 3 participants would try to win over a potential suitor sitting on the other side of a panel. The interaction was based on questions and answers, and the couple that formed won a trip to get to know each other better. The reporter managed to pass as a legitimate contestant, going through the selection process and even appearing on the show. During her participation, she followed the format's rules and interacted normally with the other contestants, keeping her disguise intact. However, after the episode aired, she revealed her true identity in an article for Cosmopolitan. In the article, the journalist pointed out how the show was more scripted and produced than it seemed. According to her, participants were encouraged to adopt certain behaviors and say specific lines to boost entertainment and ratings. Furthermore, couples formed on the show did not always have real chemistry or continue seeing each other after the recordings. The revelation caused a stir in the media and divided opinions. While some saw the report as a necessary exposé of the reality behind reality shows, others considered the journalist's attitude a breach of ethics, especially for deceiving the show's production. Cilla Black, the presenter, was particularly displeased, defending the show's authenticity and ironically criticizing the infiltration. Craig Cobb, a known American white supremacist, found himself at the center of great attention and public embarrassment in 2013 when he took part in a TV show that revealed his genetic origins. Cobb, who preached notions of white superiority and aimed to establish an all-white community in the town of Leith, North Dakota, had part of his genetic heritage analyzed as part of a segment on The Trisha Show. On the program, the results of his DNA test were presented live, showing that 14% of his ancestry was sub-Saharan African. The revelation was met with laughter and surprise from the audience, while Cobb, visibly uncomfortable, tried to discredit the test.
86 European and 14% sub-Saharan African.
He claimed the results were scientifically questionable and even suggested that it was part of a conspiracy to undermine him. The episode triggered a wave of ironic reactions and memes on the internet, with many mocking the contradiction between Cobb's supremacist beliefs and his genetic heritage. Nonetheless, Cobb did not change his ideological stance after the revelation, continuing to promote hate speech and facing resistance in his attempts to build a supremacist colony. A presenter allegedly became irritated with the cameraman of a show after he kept focusing the transmission footage on her legs and filming from an angle he was not supposed to. In the alleged incident, the presenter, who was with some guests, began to notice on the return monitor that the cameraman was focusing a lot on her legs, taking advantage of the fact that she was wearing a short dress that revealed quite a bit. She initially ignored it, but after realizing it was intentional, she became angry and cursed the cameraman, who immediately zoomed out. It is worth noting that the story was only reported and leaked to the media, supposedly by people involved in the show's production. Reports say that the presenter, during the program's recording, even threatened to walk out because she felt disrespected, but she decided to remain after the production team convinced her otherwise. The Ra Man, also known as Paulo Coelho do Ra, was one of the biggest frauds of the 1990s in Brazil, famous for his supposed ability to heal people and attract money and happiness through esoteric rituals and the use of a peculiar sound, the famous Ra. He became notorious by creating a sort of cult and spiritual movement in which he promised to transform lives through the power of the Ra sound. The man used this sound, allegedly of cosmic origin, to cleanse people's energies and drive away evil. According to him, Ra had the ability to bring financial, health, and relationship benefits to those who pronounced it or took part in his rituals. The cult spread virally, attracting hundreds of followers and causing a big commotion in Brazil. The figure became popular in the media, especially on television shows, which saw him as some kind of trickster. He took advantage of people's vulnerability during times of social, financial, and political uncertainty, offering easy solutions and promises of a better future. Even though many were deceived, the Ra Man was eventually exposed as a fraud. His methods, supposed cures, and predictions were discredited, and he came to be viewed as an example of how the search for easy answers can be used to manipulate people's faith. This case became a landmark in the history of deceit in Brazil, and the Ra Man is remembered to this day as a symbol of the frauds of the 1990s. His popularity, however, was not enough to ensure him a lasting trajectory, and he disappeared from the public scene as his cult lost followers and credibility. Justino de Oliveira was a figure who gained notoriety in Brazil for working as both a bricklayer and a pastor, and for becoming embroiled in a case of religious manipulation and extramarital affairs in Vitória, in the state of Espírito Santo, in Brazil. According to Justino, the Bible showed him that he could have other women. Only a few people attended the services of this bricklayer who presented himself as a pastor. According to him, just over 12 people. It was while interacting with the faithful that Justino found himself involved in yet another extramarital affair. It all happened when a woman from his neighborhood, who was also one of his followers, told him about some dreams she was having. She said that in these dreams, she was having children with the pastor. In talking with Justino, he ended up revealing and suggesting that this was the will of God, and that they should go ahead with it. The woman's husband then agreed, and the two began a relationship which, according to Justino, was sanctioned by God and the Bible. The president of the Association of Evangelical Pastors of Vitória, Abilio Rodrigues, condemned the practice, explaining that Justino's justification, citing a passage from the book of Isaiah that mentions 7 women for each man, was merely a specific prophecy for the people of Israel, who were about to face a time of war, meaning there would not be enough men for all the women. He also stressed that one cannot establish a doctrine based on this, calling it a totally misinterpreted and even absurd use of scripture. Around the city, some followers disagreed with the supposed swapping of spouses and left the church. Justino found himself surrounded by controversy and criticism, with many people saying he was using others' faith for his own benefit and to commit wrongdoing. The pastor's wife also ended up leaving him, and he was left all alone. Magician David Blaine is known for his impressive performances and magic tricks, but in 2016, he had an embarrassing moment on live TV, which became one of the biggest blunders of his career. During a show, Blaine tried to wow the audience with a card trick. The trick consisted of him guessing the cards chosen by people he had invited to stand around him, a simple presentation that heavily depended on the illusionist's skill and control. However, during the live performance, something went completely wrong. Blaine tried to execute the trick, but failed, making it obvious that he had not actually guessed the correct card. To make matters worse, he tried to fix the mistake on the fly, but the discomfort was clear, and the failure was quickly noticed by everyone.
You rolled a 4. Show everybody what card. Oh, well, close. I mean, it was almost it. It was a good try.
The incident created a huge stir, especially because Blaine was seen as an elite magician, capable of performing complex and unusual tricks. Despite the mishap, he took the situation with good humor, saying that he needed to keep practicing and explaining that the magic was in a work in progress, which was why he had messed up. A fun and unexpected scene that became famous took place when a reporter, who was recording a segment for a news station, got interrupted by his own mother, who was driving by the spot at that moment. The reporter was delivering a news bulletin while standing in front of a particular city landmark. When his mother drove past, she saw him and simply shouted his name to greet him enthusiastically, completely interrupting the reporter's speech. He stopped and explained to the camera operator that it was his mother, then greeted her back. He was clearly embarrassed, and the mother, on the other hand, did not seem bothered at all, continuing the conversation as if it were totally normal. The moment, which was being filmed for the newscast, somehow got leaked and became a huge hit on the internet, spawning memes and jokes about this spontaneous interaction between mother and son in the midst of a professional setting. In 2016, rumors started circulating that, during a party at the Royal Lodge in Windsor, Princess Beatrice had accidentally cut singer Ed Sheeran's face with a ceremonial sword. The incident was said to have happened when Beatrice, joking around, swung the sword without realizing Sheeran was near, resulting in a cut below his right eye, more precisely on his cheek. At the time, Ed Sheeran's manager, Stuart Camp, allegedly showed frustration over the incident, calling Beatrice an idiot for handling the sword carelessly. The news was somewhat confusing, with different versions circulating, and none of the individuals involved wanting to clarify much about the case, creating a certain mystery. Despite the supposed incident, Sheeran and Beatrice remained on friendly terms, and the singer joked about a scar on his cheek that many linked to the story due to its publicity, although he never actually confirmed anything. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.